All right. What's today? The 9th? It's the 9th, right?
Today is the ninth.
Oh, Dreamcast Day. This is the day the Dreamcast
Yes.
came out in 1999. Yeah. I didn't get it at launch, but that's not really the point, though, is it?
I didn't realize that was an official holiday. I missed that.
I wouldn't say it's a
That
holiday. It's more of a hey, not it was marketing 99.99. It all Yeah,
look at that.
they were
Look
onto
at that.
something.
Marketing. So
Marketing.
good. So good.
Sometimes it's awful, but yeah,
Love. We love
marketing.
marketing.
All right, it is September 9th. This Game of this podcast, episode 435. I'm one of the hosts here. My name is Aaron. Tiny is also here.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm doing a podcast. How about you?
I am looking forward to doing it.
I've made that joke way too many times, so I'll just stop. We have a guest this week. We have our good friend and friend in real life, real person, real human, real good human. Will, welcome, Will.
What up? How are y'all? How's the apocalypse?
Going about as well as one might think it would. I don't know.
The great end times as we find ourselves.
The great stupidity that's going to swallow the most stupid first, and eventually all of us.
I no longer wonder how people civilization gets wiped out in zombie movies. I have seen it firsthand now. I understand the stupidity. It makes total sense now. I will never doubt anyone that makes a zombie flick.
Well, that's what I watched. I watched the second Jurassic World movie last night. And that's a bad movie. It's not a good movie.
It was dumb. Yeah,
like it's just a movie of let's make the worst mistakes. But the director made a short film that goes between this last one and the one that's coming out next year, and it's called like Battle at Big Rock, and it's like post, I guess, spoilers for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So like the dinosaurs are out in North America, like they've been brought to the mainland and they've escaped. And like this family goes camping, and at one point early on they said, oh hey, remember what the ranger said, if you see a dinosaur there, like just stay away from them. They have a policy. There are dinosaurs in this world, and these people thought camping was the right idea. I don't understand. And yes, after this last year,
people would definitely do that.
Makes totally sense, right? It's perfectly normal for humanity at large. So,
yep, normal.
But anyway, what's going on, Will?
Yeah.
It's good. It's been a while, Tiny.
Yeah.
I changed jobs. Started working with a new company with a new group.
I was going to say, wait, because you had changed jobs, I think, the last time we talked, but you were still
was it
place, I thought.
I'm still working for the same organization, just
okay.
a different subgroup.
Gotcha.
We weren't good enough. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, pretty much. I got tired of not seeing you in the office.
It's like, you know what? Why am I here? Like, what's this?
What's going on? We're building a house in North Carolina.
No, that's in the state.
Yes, in the state. We are building a house in the state. It is getting there. Started framing. I've been playing some games. Started doing a gaming podcast with some buddies of mine. So I hold a World of Darkness campaign, and over the course of the last 18 months of the pandemic, have accumulated way too much nerd. I am expanding my collection of first and second edition D&D books, and my BattleTech Kickstarter came in today. And I am both thrilled and horrified at the size of the box it came in. It was bigger than Gloomhaven. And
Gloomhaven is a big box.
That's a big box,
it put Gloomhaven to shame.
That's a bludgeoning right there.
I guess.
So how many models are in said BattleTech?
Did I get in the Kickstarter or?
Yes. Well, in the box you received.
About 120.
Okay.
So, but there's also like a couple of source books and some custom dice, T-shirts, the whole 9 yards. So, but yeah, I got got quite a bit. So
Gotcha. And you say you are looking for, or have you completed a collection of D&D?
I'm working on it. I actually found a first edition PHB ninth printing first run for like $20, and a Monster Manual 2 first printing second run at a used bookstore here in the area recently, and I snagged those, and I've got some Dark Sun stuff coming. So I'm trying to get all the old like obscure stuff like Planescape, Dark Sun.
Okay. So you're looking for more modules than
modules and rule books as well. So okay. I have yet to
I feel like I need to go downstairs.
No, James, it's not.
I mean, please do. Please I
might need to go find what I had as a young lad.
Just saying, if you're looking to offload it, you just let me know, because and I've also actually been writing a Dark Sun, or not Dark Sun, a 5th edition compatible campaign world. So I've been cranking out about 1,200 words a weekend on that.
Wow.
So yeah, writing is hard. It's a pain.
Yeah.
Ideas are easy. Putting them into like English, that's terrible.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. That's all right though.
So yeah, we're getting there. I plan to have that done. I made that decision actually on my honeymoon while on a train in Switzerland, and that was a few years ago. So I'm still working on that.
Definitely the thing to be thinking about during your honeymoon.
Yeah,
just thinking about Petty, you're just like, you.
I mean, you know. Driving around Switzerland or riding around Switzerland.
Oh, James asked a question in the chat. Did you ever play Spelljammer? That was 2nd edition AD&D, aka D&D in space.
Oh, James, my sweet summer child. Just assume yes. For all of your
sweet summer child.
For all of your.
That's funny.
Yeah, I played Spelljammer. I did a conversion for some of the Spelljammer stuff to 5th. For a one shot a while back, actually. The guy that has been DMing my World of Darkness campaign online actually used to write for White Wolf. He was a buddy of mine from back in the day, because in the boondocks of the Deep South, if you're a nerd, apparently your options are to get picketed by religious groups or write for the devil books themselves. So there's no middle ground.
It's binary, people.
It's very binary choice. So yeah, he used to write for him, and he's working on his own gaming system as well. So we're kind of playing a modified version of World of Darkness plus some of his own stuff. So, but it's going well. If you want to hear me play an old cranky man, I'll plug that at the end of this stint today. So it's highly entertaining, or so I've been told.
Okay.
So.
All right, James says, "Yep, math checks out. Love, I don't know. This is
World of Darkness.
World of Darkness. Yeah,
vampires and werewolves and ghouls and ghosts. Oh my!
Out of my wheelhouse. So.
Give
me time.
Again, board games would have been the same thing to say a couple years ago. So.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. But that's the thing. Like, at least how I feel now. When I see miniatures, I'm like, eh. When I see dice, I'm like, oh.
You don't need miniatures for RPGs.
That's true.
Right, you don't. You don't need miniatures. Yeah. Like, it's not. He's not talking about Warhammer right now.
Oh,
not yet.
God. I did pick up Titanicus though recently as well. Speaking of Warhammer, which is demonstrably the best rule set that they've ever developed for a game, and it is fantastic. And the models are absolutely gorgeous and fun to assemble and paint. It makes me angry because I'd gotten off the Games Workshop train, but they lured me back in Godfather style.
It is a place right near my house that has all that stuff. I'm just like, why can't you just be a regular board game store? I have no interest in any of that. Just be a regular board game store.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your pain and your suffering.
Yeah.
Or you could just start playing their games.
No, don't. That's a terrible
No,
idea.
no. That's like a bill. I'm good.
Yeah, that's a money. That's a money pit.
Nah, man.
No, don't do that.
Do that. All right. There's a bunch of stuff here in the outline. What do you wish to discuss
Uh,
that no one else can see but us?
Okay. Let's start with What If by Marvel.
Okay.
Because that got dark real quick.
I did not see the one this week, but yeah, I was watching with my family, and my oldest was like, wasn't it like kind of happy go lucky before? Like, what is Doctor Strange? What is happening? I was like, what?
Oh man, this week is even worse.
I mean, this week is zombies though, and like they make a lot of references to the Marvel Zombies comics, but they kind of shove everything in, and everyone's still very
at once.
quippy.
Yeah.
So like I don't like I probably think this week's episode is the weakest episode they've done so far.
Really? I actually thought the first episode was the weakest episode. I think they've gotten just progressively better.
I think the first one was awkward for the format because they're trying to fit the 2.5-hour movie into the 34-minute time slot they're trying to do or whatnot. But I think this, like, there are just a lot of things that I don't think make a lot of sense in, like, so like, not to ruin anything for Aaron, but like, so they're zombies, so they're, but unlike in Marvel Zombies where they retain most of their intelligence in the comic, so that explains why they can still use their powers and whatnot. Here it's like they, I guess, remember a thing.
Yeah, I will say that they do tone them down from the Marvel Zombies comic, which, by the way,
I never
was
read
written.
them.
It was written by Kirkman of The Walking Dead, and to give you a sample, the Marvel Zombies had all of their memories, all of their cognitive abilities, and all of their powers. The only thing that was different was a unending hunger for human flesh. And to give you an idea of how Kirkman twisted this, the Spider-Man run, he gets bitten by zombies, so he goes back to like warn Mary J and Aunt May, and he gets there and he's aware, he's still got like all of his personality, he's overcome by the hunger and proceeds to eat Aunt May in front of Mary Jane. And the whole time he's just freaking out because he can't stop himself. He's just doing it. And that's tame for the Marvel zombie run.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's sometimes unclear about how the hunger, because like essentially they say, especially in that first series, they're like, oh, hey, the hunger's calmed down and I'm more back to myself, and that's when Peter gets like all mopey. Like, I killed Aunt May and Mary Jane. So like, and like none of that's like, and yeah. Anyway, it's that's why like I enjoyed it. Like, and I think What Ifs and James in the chat is saying it like, hey, like they do a lot of this, but like a lot of these are just, yo, what if bad things happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, cool. Like, and especially in a world where they don't have a lot of supervillains, so like it always has to be something that happens to the heroes, because it can't be like that. Like, what if Doc Ock married Aunt May?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
There's only like 3 living supervillains. Everyone else is dead. So, and even then, there's not that many supervillains to begin with anyway. So, but anyway, I think the series is going well, and I really like the Doctor Strange one.
Yeah.
And
I like the turn. It definitely took one.
And that Uatu has let's say started to show he will break his code.
Yes, yes, that is true. The Watcher is interacting a little bit. So
one of the first times I haven't read as many comic books as you all have. I think I'm trying to remember. Didn't the Red Hulk beat up one of the Watchers?
I mean, there's been
lots of people have beat up the Watchers.
Yeah, like Nick Fury kills like there was a big series a couple years back where Nick Fury kills the Watcher.
Why?
Because
how do you kill the Watcher?
He had witnessed. Well, it's this weird. This is how they got rid of David Hasselhoff Nick Fury to introduce Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury into the main Marvel universe, by making David Hasselhoff Nick Fury become the man on the wall, which was like kind of like cursed, like he essentially got cursed to be a watcher and could never interact with humanity or whatever. So they could introduce his previously unmentioned son, who loses his eye in like the first like 3 issues he's introduced in, so that he can have the eye patch and just be Nick Fury from the Ultimate Universe at that point, but be Nick Fury Jr.
That tracks, right?
So because they're like, hey, we want
perfect sense.
There's a lot of stuff.
It's comic books.
So,
I mean,
yeah, that's actually it. So, but
it's not rocket surgery.
But yeah, I think so far the What If stuff I think has been really good. I mean, this is another. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to say that. I was going to say. Yeah. Anyway, you know what? Not even going to say what I was like. Even the hint of what I was going to say.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm going to watch it. I did finally catch up on other things, but I will. I'll certainly watch this one probably this weekend.
You definitely should. I have been a big fan of it. I think my favorite episode is probably Star-Lord. So
that's a very good one.
That was really good. Yeah.
The Thanos joke through the whole thing. Like
that's
every time I just
genocide. I'm just
not genocide. It's balancing.
No, that's genocide. One man's genocide is another man's balance? That's terrible. I feel bad now. Yikes.
Yikes. Okay. And what else have you been watching?
Lower Decks, which
good show.
To me is the current best Star Trek show running. Like it captures that for me, like the original Star Trek vibe, which I finally watched Discovery all the way through and caught up, by the way.
I missed the last 3 or 4 episodes of the last season, but I was loving it.
And I'm a big fan of Discovery, but Lower Decks, like, it's absolutely fantastic. One of the recent episodes has to do with like how do these characters keep coming back from the death, and it's so much worse. It's so much. It's like, is it a clone? Is it a transporter clone? Because a main character dies in the first, or a secondary character dies in the first season. Spoilers, and comes back, and one of the mains is like, How did you come back? Are you a clone? Did I lose? Are you a Borg? Are you an android? Like
another universe from a split time?
Yeah, like what's and they give an explanation. It's so much worse. It's fantastic though. It's very Star Trek in how they explain it, or how they present it. I won't say it's not really an explanation, but it's very entertaining.
Oh, James says the new season of Discovery starts on November 18th. So
I
am very excited.
I saw all the announcements for all the Star Trek stuff. Like what the Nickelodeon show starts the end of the month.
Star Trek
Prodigy.
Yep.
Yeah, I know nothing about it.
That's the one with like hologram Janeway in it. New Worlds? They showed off some of the cast for. That's the spin-off from Discovery with Pike and Spock.
Yeah, that's going to be so good.
And Rebecca Remains Stamos.
John Stamos is what?
No, Rebecca Remains. Discovery and Picard had I think just a year, like 2022.
Yeah, with Q.
With
Q coming back. Oh man,
Q coming. Well, I guess I guess we're not worried about Picard perishing anymore. I guess
no,
we're worried about everybody else around him.
I guess, man, like, can we talk about Picard, or is it like, I don't know, do people? He's in a robot body.
Pretty much. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not worried about dying.
And no one's gonna they're 100% not gonna mention that ever again.
Nope.
It's just gonna be like,
nope.
But are we gonna pretend it like, oh man, he got stabbed? Like how?
We're gonna next generation it away. That's
right, it's 100% gonna be. I think anyway. Yeah. Anyway.
Which fun fact? The guy that plays Q also played the first villain in the reboot of My Little Ponies.
Yes.
So, just saying. And he did a fantastic job as a villain, by the way. I know this because I have a niece.
Magic.
So yes, I have a niece.
Oh, my girls
obsessed with. Yeah,
I think I've seen. They think they've seen all of those. Of the new one, they've seen the what's the spinoff one? The Girls of Equestria, where
there's
like,
a spinoff.
Well, like there was like the My Little Pony characters, but then like them in like a human world. But it's a whole thing.
No, I missed that one.
Yeah, they like all that stuff. So they are in. They are in.
Fantastic.
Okay, so that's Star Trek, and like Lower Decks. I don't know, I enjoy it, but sometimes I'm watching when I talk with you, like it's very It's Star Trek, but Rick and Morty. Like there's definitely a Rick and Morty part to it.
Is there a sauce associated with it that nobody can find?
No,
it's not that. But like, so not this maybe it was the last. Was the last episode about the poachers?
I'm not caught up. I've missed like last episode.
So there's some stuff and like oh yeah, I could definitely see how this could be like Adult Swimish. It doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah, not Rick and Morty, Adult Swimish. Rick and Morty is losing its charm for me. This last season was not great, I guess.
I've only seen one episode and I laughed, but I got distracted by some tinsel or something and didn't keep watching it.
That's fair.
Tiny object.
It's a standard clause.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. So, yeah, my other thing for life is just it's bad. Oh man, I don't even know if I want to get into that today.
We want to stick to happier escapism things.
Let's stick to happy escapism right now. I'm just so angry about that. So
with good reason. And
I'm so angry, and I'm just gonna sum it up real quick. What the fucking Texas? I'm just gonna say that, and that's gonna be it.
Aaron is currently writing down curses. Timestamps.
Timestamps.
That's good.
Right.
That's good. I'm glad I'm not gonna go into detail on that because there'd be a ton. Most of the next like 3 minutes would just be completely cut anyway. So
we'd understand.
Yeah. It's so stupid. So
agreed.
Yep. Elections really do matter.
They do. I'm so angry.
Secret is you're always angry.
This is actually true.
Pretty much.
I'm constantly pissed off.
Well, I'll try to be brief about these things. I finally saw Suicide Squad.
Yes,
the Suicide
Squad.
And I had seen so much, like it's people were just. I mean, having seen it, like it's a little hyperbolic, like just the hype, and I enjoy. I mean, my wife and I have this ongoing debate about how dumb the first one is, which we rewatched about a month ago.
It's so bad.
And
you mean terrible. Will Smith and His Amazing Friends?
Yes, and it's funny. She admitted while we were watching it, like she liked who was the fire demon lord? Diego, or what was his name?
Diablo.
Yeah.
El Diablo.
She liked that character, and I did too. But he did not save the movie.
Nope.
He's probably the he's probably the best part of that team.
Yes, agreed.
Like there's a lot of like Will Smith is the best shot in the world. Well, he obviously isn't because Batman caught him. So
yeah. Well, yes.
Like it's very different. Like anyway, and then again, I know I keep like harping on this. I don't know what Harley Quinn's going to do to stop Superman from killing the president.
And I guess my wife is the perfect person of like someone who does not know who or what Starro is.
Okay.
So if you're like the lay person coming in, like that's a big starfish. This is dumb because I had reference. I thought it was cool because I'm like, oh, Starro. Right. But if you don't know,
it's classics.
But if that doesn't mean anything to you, it's like that's like a big Patrick with an eyeball. Like what is this? So she wasn't. She liked the other one better. I kept saying, I'm like, this one, I was like, we're only like a quarter of the way through this movie. It's already better just because they have to pull any punches. Like they just
like one of my favorite things about this new one is everyone they had do a press tour for it dies in the first 5 minutes of that movie.
Which I was watching it like
everyone
they're all dead. I was like,
Pete Davidson, the Fluke guy, Nathan Fillion, like Michael Rooker. And
Technically, Nathan Fillion's character is not
I was
dead.
gonna say they came back and said, yeah, the detachable kid did not die in that movie.
Okay, I didn't realize. Okay, is that what TDK stood for?
That's
Yes,
what
the
TDK
detachable
stands
kid,
for.
yeah.
The detachable
okay.
kid.
I thought they said kit for some reason. It was okay.
So, but like, and it's
so
funny because
dumb.
like you think about some of it, and like Michael Rooker's character.
Who was that anyway?
Savant?
Savant, yeah.
He's like a hand-to-hand, like.
He's like a not blind daredevil.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So like what does he bring to fighting an army? So when he started swimming away, I'm like, that makes sense because your power set is just not good here. I mean, same idea. We brought Javelin Dude.
Yeah, well, he throws a javelin. Is that his power?
He throws one javelin. Like
it's a really good javelin though.
Does it come back?
Than Hawkeye. Like. So anyway, yeah, everyone.
That's all I got.
Everyone like Mongal. They never explain if she's an alien or not.
Isn't Mongal pretty formidable though? Like I feel like
she's the female version of Mongol.
Yeah, I feel like if Mongol could fight Superman, if she like, I felt like maybe she could be a Suicide Squad all by herself.
Her weakness, bullets
and helicopter,
and a helicopter falling on you. Yeah, she didn't plan that out.
And then. I mean, my favorite of all of those though is Captain Boomerang because you're like, oh no, they're not going to kill Captain.
Yeah,
we brought Jay Courtney back for this.
I was so surprised. I was like, I kept telling my wife, I was like, they killed Captain Boomerang. She's like, who cares? I'm like,
fantastic.
I said, people know who that is. Weasel, not so much.
Weasel was great.
Weasel was great though.
So,
and who was Pete Davis, the Black Guard, or what was it?
The Black Guard. Again,
what does he do?
Like another, he's a gun guy.
Yeah, gun guy. That's the best way to describe it.
I love that they made fun of themselves when he was like, "I thought you said you were getting people with all unique abilities. You just said like he could turn a weapon, anything into a weapon, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. I enjoyed it. It was really dumb, but I enjoyed it more than the other one though, easily.
I watched it on vacation. And I am told that people could hear me laughing from another part of the house.
It had moments.
I think there were several times where, like, just laugh out loud funny.
Oh yeah.
When Harley Quinn said "walking back and forth," I don't know why that made me laugh.
So
dude, let me talk. The Harley Quinn character growth.
Yeah,
that was the most unexpected twist I saw in the whole thing.
But having seen her solo movie though, I
get it. It's perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Makes sense.
I was expecting to play off of it, but it was so well done. Like, well, I have terrible taste in men, so you're probably a homicidal maniac, so I should probably kill you.
I made a promise to myself: if someone is evil, I'm just going to
kill him.
It was very good. I enjoyed, and like, there's a lot of stuff. Like, we're only talking about really the first like 10 minutes. Of the
movie. I know, right?
I did not know that was going to happen. I just, especially the Boomerang. I'm sorry, I felt that. I was like, not Boomerang, please. Like, yeah.
So I mean, and like when he had the shrapnel in him, like, oh, there's a way he could come back, and then
no. So I guess they're not. This didn't do very well, right? So I'm assuming that doesn't really matter because they're probably done with Suicide Squad at this point.
No, because there's a Peacemaker.
Yeah, the TV series
show, which is already finished filming and whatnot. So
they just knew they had that much faith in a character that like 8 people knew about, including the 2 of you and the 6 more people.
Yeah, right.
I think it's more John Cena is a very dynamic person.
Yes.
And they were like, hey. What's his name? James Gunn said he wrote most of the script for the series during quarantine. So, hey, we have someone that we like. We have a subscription service we need to make content for. And we already pretty much own most of the set, like the stuff we're going to need for it. So, cool. Let's get to it.
I guess they're probably not going to pay Idris to come back. It's like, well, yeah, he did this one. I don't know.
So honestly, though, even though it didn't do necessarily as well, you got to look at what it did during quarantine plus streaming, because we're on a whole new playground now with all of these movies going to streaming at the same time as theatrical release, which we thought we would never see before 2020, or not see for another like
Scarlett
10
Johansson
years,
didn't expect that either.
Exactly. But it's just, they've pushed the whole thing forward. So we'll.
Yeah, it's a more of a question of how well like it did for HBO Max.
Exactly.
They're never gonna. There's no reason they're gonna reveal those numbers.
No.
So.
No.
But I mean, hey, I enjoyed the heck out of it. I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah, my wife loved it, and she is not super like she's a Marvel fan, but she's not like a DC fan by any stretch of the imagination.
My wife hated
she thought it was great.
She thought I don't think she expected it to be as violent as it was. I was like, well, no, it's rated R. I mean, they're gonna go for it.
Mine chuckled every time a shark guy ate someone. She just like
that was enjoyable.
Started laughing. So
I will say this: I enjoyed Sly Stallone as King Shark.
Mm-hmm.
I would have preferred if they had kept Ron Funches
from the animated series,
from the Harley Quinn animated series, because I think I would like them to go back to like Injustice, and like there should be an alternate like voice pack for King Shark, and it's just Ron Funches doing his thing. So,
I would be okay with that. Smart King Shark is very good. So
it was very good. It was very violent. Like, I don't know. Very violent. Like, it's the name of it. It's the Suicide Squad. Yeah. I don't know what you were expecting. Like when Idris Elba and John Cena do the competition,
and then he realized what they did wrong. It was like, oh, yeah.
Why didn't any of my men alert me?
They all ran and hit. They all deserve it.
They're all dead.
And like Bloodsport is another character that a lot of like he's very not known. Well, the
helmet's pretty cool with the skull part at the bottom. Yeah.
And that's the funny thing. That is in his original form, he has like a bandana over his face that covers down to his nose and like eye holes cut into it and whatnot. When he fought, this whole outfit is something they've now retroactively introduced
because the guns were built in, the helmet was built into the suit and stuff.
Right, because like Waller has him going between dimensions, so that suit is to protect him from like not dying when he goes to different worlds to get stuff for her.
Wow.
So that's otherwise he's like he has. I mean, the character has a kind of tragic backstory with like him dodging the draft and his brother takes his place, and then his brother gets injured and somehow Lex Luthor convinced him it's Superman's fault, so he's like, cool, I'm gonna go shoot Superman. And there's a whole thing there. So
a related but a side thing, can we talk about how awesome of a person David I can't pronounce his last name.
Polka Dot Man?
Yes, the cat he adopted. Did you see
I saw the little outfit. Yeah, that was cute.
That is fantastic.
Polka Dot Man deserved better though.
Yes, he did.
I mean, I don't know. I think he's probably in a better place than the place he was in that movie.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
So, but no, I thought he was. That was Ratcatcher 2. I thought was a very good character, and I enjoyed her stuff.
The bus ride growth where they like character development scene.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we have 5 minutes. Go.
She's gonna tell us how her father, director of Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And Thor: Love and Thunder.
Right. Was Ratcatcher 1 and all that. Yeah. Anyway, there was a lot of stuff there. And yeah. Oh God, Dr. Peter
Capaldi. I was just about to say
as the thinker,
or as the evil doctor. I don't know, because that's all I could see him.
And then what happens to him? Like, no.
Yeah,
saw that coming.
He had it coming. Yeah. So anyway, we talked about a John Cena vehicle. So I watched another one.
I have still not seen this one yet.
I've not either.
We watched Fast 9,
and
you always suspend your disbelief with any of these movies.
Of course,
it's just. I mean, you do the thing where you watch it with somebody, you look at them like, what are we looking at? And we did that many times. We're just like, but what really got us is like, the retroactively injecting John Cena as Dom's brother was just like,
Was that the breaking point?
it really was. I can take, Roman and Tej in space.
I was gonna say, like, wait, this is going to.
I can accept that more than I can accept, like, how? What?
That's saying a
has
lot.
a brother that we never
It was
met
not
before.
good. It was not. It was. They're all dumb, but this
That whole movie series is dumb.
But
I love it.
I feel like they really ran out. We were like halfway through like the movie, and I'm just like, they haven't done anything that wowed me. I mean, I guess after 9 movies, yeah,
I mean, there's still 3 more or whatever. So
I thought they were stopping at 10. Please tell me they're stopping at 10.
I thought it was another trilogy they were doing.
Oh, fantastic! I'm glad to know that my future unborn children will be able to.
I'm still up for them to also do the Jurassic World Fast and Furious crossover, where like Vin Diesel takes on a T-Rex or whatever.
I would pay good money to see that.
No one needs that. It just.
Oh, we do. We definitely need that. That is a priority.
You're gonna watch this movie, but it's just you're gonna sit there and just think.
Well, like again, Nick Fury is going to have come and saved Han. Because that's what Mr. Nobody is in that universe.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
You're going to be like, cool, Han is back. Again, this can't be the end, because Han's back now. And unless you tell me they kill him.
And then it gets even weirder, because Han explains how he's back. But then, I'm not going to spoil it. I will discuss it once you've seen it. But there is a mid-credit scene that you're just like, what?
Does Gal Gadot just walk in? Like, is she somehow magically?
Her head floats in frame. No, I'm kidding. It's not just her head.
I don't know if they have the money for Gal Gadot to come back, but
maybe not now. So yeah, but it was a thing. And Quiet Place Part 2 really wasn't that great either. And I went in knowing that.
Oh, it's so bad. Like
we felt bad. We felt like basically they said, "Okay, John, you had a lot of success with the first one. We don't want to put any pressure on you, but we need you to just, under duress, write a sequel that doesn't need to happen and makes little to no sense."
Like most sequels. Excellent news.
The best thing about The Quiet Place 1 is like they generally make smart decisions. Like the kids do dumb stuff, but like overall, they generally make smart decisions. The Quiet Place 2, most of the drama could have been resolved if everyone just kind of talked to each other.
But nothing. But like even the part where like they jump in the car. I don't want to spoil anything, but they jump in the car and then drive to the radio station.
Yes.
Where were they? Clearly, the characters just did it as like to serve the story, but the characters admit that they have no idea why they do. Why did they do that? What was the
But like, it's the same idea as like when one of the characters goes out to go refill an item or whatever.
Yeah.
All she has to do is turn to another character and explain what's going on.
Yep.
And we could have avoided a whole chunk of that later half of that movie. Like it's the Final Fantasy X problem where like if Auron just told Tidus what was going on, half that game would be like cool. Like,
I don't even get that reference, and I agree. Having never played Final Fantasy X,
but I agree.
Thank you.
We both. Do you concur?
I concur.
Do you concur? Excellent. I'm glad we concur. Yes.
Doctor.
I just kept watching it, just like it's like they made him do it at gunpoint. It just didn't make any sense.
Like, here's a big check, but yeah,
it's not gunpoint; it's checkpoint. There's a difference.
Yes. Checkpoint. Yeah, exactly. You're right. So, and the Matrix 4 trailer, Matrix. What's it called?
Resurrection.
I did not know this was even going to be a thing. This completely flew under my radar until like yesterday.
Yeah, no, they've been talking about it. There are things. So here's the thing that's been going around the internet today. Is this actually an afterpoint from The Matrix Online?
Oh, and it all surrounds. See, I never played Matrix Online at all, so I didn't know that Morpheus died in a back alley in that game.
But he didn't actually die. There was a big story arc where you think Morpheus is dead, and then like he kind of comes back, but he could have been reborn. There's another one where like Neo dies at the end of The Matrix 3. Essentially, is what it seems like. Like they do the whole like carry him out
You know, I completely
Yes.
forgot about that because I didn't like that movie.
So,
Yeah.
but in the
Well,
game,
no one did.
they reintroduced
Or the
a
second one.
character that has the name that is an anagram for Thomas Anderson. So, like, Neo was reborn potentially in a different body, and then discovers like who they are. Like Trinity's also dead. So, like, is Trinity
yeah.
in the
Remember
Matrix?
the longest death scene ever?
So, like,
It took her so long
I like
to
blanked
die.
out that whole like movie.
That's what you do with trauma. You blank it out.
Because it wasn't good.
No,
So, I mean, there's also the fight between man and machine. Like, the truce breaks down in the game, and that's what like causes the whole conflict for gameplay. But there's a third faction now of Seraphites, which is like a mixture of legacy programs and people that want to live in the Matrix because the real world sucks.
that's fair.
So like, we'll see. At the time the Matrix Online was running, they claimed it was canon. So we will see if that will be the case or not.
Well, now I feel bad for never playing Matrix Online. Way to make.
If you want to see something fun, go watch. I know Giant Bomb documented the last days of the Matrix Online, and like the game just crashes at the end. That's how they program the ending. Like you just
crash.
Start seeing everyone like fall down,
So
with their bodies and whatnot.
So I know Marvel gets a lot of flack for like not gatekeeping, but you know the whole if you don't read the comics, then you kind of there's certain things like Starro, you know, but that's DC. But you know, there's certain things like you don't get.
I
But
think
like
Marvel's gotten to the point though, they're like, this is movie 20. I can't spend the first 45 minutes explaining everything that has happened in the previous 20 movies.
But yes, I get that.
Here.
But like making Matrix 4 based on a like having that directly tied to an MMO
That you can't play anymore.
like 0.1% of the population
that
play.
has not been active since 2009.
That's
a real brave choice.
That's some hell of some. I'm just saying.
It's a bold
Real
move,
brave.
Cotton. It's a bold move.
We'll see
Let's see
how
if
this
it works
out.
for him.
Exactly. It doesn't look. I mean, I watched trailer with. Hey, you know what? It's on HBO Max. I'll just sit at home and look at HBO Max because I'm not paying for that.
I mean, I think it'll be a fun movie, and there'll be parts that people are like, oh man, like we're different than what it was before. Like, I mean, they have to go. I don't know. Like, the people that were living in the real world were in a real bad place.
Yeah.
Like,
They were.
So here's the thing with the trailer though. The first time I saw it, I swear I thought it was a fan trailer that had taken clips from John Wick and clips from the original Matrix and merged them together.
In Cyberpunk.
Yes. And I was like, "What is this a joke?
I don't
what is
fault you for
happening?
that.
It's a real."
Nowadays, it's hard to tell because
Yep.
people make really good fake trailers.
So I did not even think the movie was real for the first day. So
I can't blame you for that one. We'll see. Yeah, everybody have HBO Max. I mean, there's.
yeah.
yes,
that's...
I will be watching it the same way I watch Suicide Squad.
Yep.
So, I mean, I guess we'll finish up this movie talk because that's what a lot of this has been so far. More media.
Movie enthused.
That Spider-Man No Way Home trailer.
That was fantastic.
I'm so looking forward to it. Like all the the parts where anyway we'll see, and like maybe it ties into some of the what if stories. And anyway,
the way you just blink like that, I can tell what you really wanted to communicate was that Mephisto has taken over Doctor Strange's body because why would Doctor Strange do that?
Or maybe it's a different Doctor Strange.
It could be, or I'm not gonna lie, I definitely peed my pants a little bit when I saw the Hello Peter or heard Hello Peter.
Molina?
So,
yeah,
I was just like, oh, this is fantastic.
But like now that we can't trust Marvel, especially after like Infinity War, you can't trust Marvel like with scenes like they digitally remove actors or they just make scenes for the trailer that never are in the movie.
But you know what? I'm okay with that.
So I like the misdirection. Like it's the same idea as like Metal Gear Solid 2, where they put pictures of Snake where Raiden actually is playable in that game.
Yeah.
Or Raiden. So like I'm fine with that, but like I feel like the other two Spider-Man are in that that scene. Or they mash scenes together. So like when
you don't know what's going on.
When when T'Challa's like, get that man a shield, but then they show the scene of Captain America coming out of the shadows in the subway station or in the train station in the UK, which is two completely different parts of that movie.
Yeah.
So it's like we'll see. The real thing is, it makes me so hyped for that movie, and then I'm like, I still don't know what the Eternals is going to be.
Although the last trailer at least was like something.
Yes, it's something, and at least like Kit Harington has finally shown up. Who's the
Black Knight?
I mean, he plays the Black Knight, which I think, again, 100% like guess on my part. I assume he's going to be the person Julie Louis-Dreyfus recruits to be on her little team that she keeps recruiting people for.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Why?
Because he's technically a villain.
The Black Knight?
He goes back and forth.
That depends. Yeah. But like he could be, depending on how they power him, he could be the Thor of her, like the mystically powered
analog
of for her Avengers.
I've only known the Black Knight to be good in the comic. I didn't know Black Knight was bad.
The sword is cursed.
Yeah.
So sometimes it kind of drives him into a blood rage.
And his brother is what, the Grim Reaper, or what's the character's name?
Grim Reaper is the brother of Wonder Man.
Okay,
like the actor Wonder Man, Simon, whatever his name.
Simon Williams.
Yeah.
Played by Nathan Fillion in cutscenes from one of the movies.
Really?
But he was supposed. They were supposed to be. It's Age of Ultron, I think. There is I think a deleted scene. There were supposed to be pictures of like Wonder Man in the background. It was Nathan Fillion.
Which Wonder Man? Do you think if they do it, do you think it'll go like Energy Wonder Man or like
Ionic Wonder? I don't know.
Because you can't really hurt him because he's like energy.
No, you like ground. Like they'll just treat him like Electro or whatever. Be like, I can't believe you've been grounded.
Yeah. And Black Knight does have like a direct tie to Kang because his first stint as a provisional Avenger was fighting Kang.
But
I didn't know
that's
that.
why, and so I said this in our the GameEnthus group chat or whatever. I don't think Kang is the real big villain of this.
No, it's going to be Galactus.
I don't even think it's Galactus because I think you're going to wait till we get Fantastic Four.
Then who?
I think it's finally Mephisto. I am going out. I think it's like the bigger bad guy is the devil.
I don't know. Like Mephisto is.
The Kang hints are like.
Yeah, Mephisto.
But not even
really
hints.
But he's supposed to be the bad guy in
Ant-Man.
In Ant-Man and in Quantumanium or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, what if he's the bad? Like they defeat him, and like the real big one is Mephisto, and that's like what's happening in Nowhere from No Way Home. That's how they're able to get Black Widow back because like he controls the underworld. His Contessa is his that's why he has Contessa putting together a Dark Avengers group.
Why would Mephisto be doing
Discount
that,
Avengers?
Though? Like why?
I mean, it's the same idea as like the whole Spider-Man movie is kind of at least part of it is based on Brand New Day, which is Peter Parker trades his marriage to Mary Jane to Mephisto to save Aunt May's life and make everyone forget his identity.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll see. That's what I think. Like Kang can be fun too. But then I don't know why you need the Dark Avengers and
I just want to see non-smoky Galactus. Just give me a Fantastic Four movie that doesn't suck.
Non-smoky. Non-cloud Galactus.
Yes, just give me one that's not terrible and give me Galactus that is well designed and a good villain, and I'll be happy for
We have to have Silver Surfer then, otherwise.
I don't even necessarily need.
I mean, you could have other heralds.
There are a ton of heralds.
You could have Terra and all the
Firestorm,
Fire Lord.
Fire Lord, yeah.
So,
there are a ton.
So the last movie I'm going to talk about, at least I saw Shang-Chi on Friday.
I have
not seen it yet.
Or Saturday.
I really want to though.
I saw it at drive-in. I won't talk about it obviously since you guys haven't seen it, but I will tell you this. Shockingly, there are post-credit scenes, and the drive-in shut the projector off in the middle of the second post-credit scene, and I thought there was going to be a riot.
Who would be brave
so
enough
pissed.
to
That's
do that?
fantastic.
I think it's because it's like a noise ordinance for where the drive-in is.
Mhm.
So like we were supposed to start at 8. I don't think the movie started till like 8:30 because like it's dependent on the sun
How many people are
being
there?
down and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, that too. But like, so it started late, and I'm wondering if like it was past 10:30, almost 11 when we were at that point. Like, oh, maybe they like there's a noise. Like there were houses that I could see within the distance. So, but like, so we went to this drive-in, and like that day before I was like, how do drive-ins work? I don't think I've actually ever been to a drive-in.
I haven't been to one in 20 years, 20
I don't-
plus
I-
years.
It was never a thing when growing up. And like I was reading their like little FAQ and like, oh, you can if you were gonna sit outside, you need to sit in front of your car. Okay. Well, then how do you hear the movie
If you're sitting in front of your car.
if you're sitting in front of your car? So I went out and bought a boombox from Best Buy.
Like and you put batteries in it, right?
And put batteries, yes, 6D batteries into this.
Do you have the Eneloop adapters at least? Is that
I mean, I had those. Yeah, I had those.
That is fantastic.
So like I bought something that plays cassette tapes in the year of our Lord
Whoa.
2021.
Whoa. Those
also-
still exist?
It's also a Bluetooth. Like it also you can sync Bluetooth devices to it. It was the greatest. Like it worked super well. We put it on the hood of the car, sat there. I brought like one of those TV trays.
Mhm.
We ate dinner. Put the drinks there. Sat out, like watched it. It was wonderful. Like I enjoyed the heck out of it. Other than again, when they almost started a riot. Like,
that's a punch in the
like,
face, right?
you
there.
can go to their Facebook page. People still like every post they do. Like maybe don't turn off a movie before it's done. So it was a lot of fun. I look forward to talking about that movie because there are things to talk about in it.
I look forward to seeing it so I can talk about it.
I want Aaron to see it so much because I think you're going to like how it relates to Iron Man 3.
Awesome.
Like there's so many things in there that it's like, yeah, well,
The Mandarin.
Spoilers.
no, I'm looking at what James said in the chat about doing my best John Cusack impression. So this was a date. I had another date last night, and one of my friends, the local friends, said he's like, oh, I'm going to come over and just do that in front of your house. And I'm like, no, you are not.
What? Come on now.
Way too soon for dates to start meeting my weird.
Whoa, you went on a date on a Wednesday night?
I did a homemade meal on a Wednesday night.
Ooh,
So
Be
that's
still my
impressive, sir.
foolish
and
heart.
then we watched Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, which was a terrible movie, and I think we just mostly made fun of it. But she had not seen it yet.
Okay.
But that's good. That's a good sign. You know.
Yeah, if you're making a
That's-
home cooked meal and hey
That's-
man.
No one,
That's-
yes, as far as I know, no one got sick.
I mean, most of my wife's design relationship is based entirely off us making fun of the same things together. So
So anyway,
Unites
so the other thing I'll mention, this showed up in the mail, but the Ultimate History of Video Games Volume 2 came out, which is a book by Stephen Kent. His first one goes up to essentially the Xbox, PS2, and GameCube timeframe. And now this one is from there to, I believe, Xbox One. I'm like a quarter of the way into it so far. I really enjoy it. Like it's a lot of history. Depending on your level of familiarity with the video game industry and whatnot, it's probably a lot of history you've already heard. Like, oh, this is why Xbox got in. This is why Sega got out. That kind of stuff.
Have you heard of DirectX before? Like, yes, I have.
So, but it's real good, and like it has a lot of interviews, and there are quotes from people, like stuff you haven't seen in the Netflix documentary and all that stuff. So I'm enjoying the heck out of that when I get a chance to read it. So, but yeah, I mean, aside from that, I can't really think of anything else. I mean, the James Bond trailer looked good.
I haven't watched it yet.
That and Ghostbusters, like I'm looking forward to both of. And then actually, this is one last thing. they moved Venom up 2 weeks because of the success of Shang-Chi. So it was October 15th it was supposed to come out. Now it's October 1st because
that's
they're
coming up quick.
We want to try to, superhero movies are hot again. Let's get on top of that.
All right, make that money.
We'll see. Woody Harrelson is Carnage, so
that's gonna be fantastic. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, the trailer looks interesting.
Woody Harrelson does crazy very well. So Woody Harrelson's Cassidy.
I think he's going to be good. I just
wish they would just make it rated R, but I know they're not going to.
I liked the first one more than I thought I would.
So did I. I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. And James says it best: a couple who can mock and laugh together will always have something or someone to laugh at.
It's true.
That's very true.
That is the entire basis of.
We were on the airplane
my
looking
relationship.
at A Quiet Place Part 2. We looked at each other like 18 times. Like, are you seeing this? Like, what have they done? I don't know.
These people make dumber choices. Also, why is the Scarecrow here? I don't understand. Anyway,
and he's talking so much they didn't explain in that movie. They just I don't. All right.
Yeah.
Well, what have you been playing, man?
So Aliens Fireteam, actually, a whole lot.
Oh, you picked that up?
I did. I did.
On which platform did you pick?
PC.
Okay.
PC. I have been thoroughly. There are a ton of games along that vein, like World War Z, etc. But I have been really enjoying it. Playing it on increased difficulty, like standard difficulty it's pretty simple, but playing on increased difficulty is it definitely gives it that alien like oh god we're all gonna die vibe from Aliens. I will say that anyone who uses any demolisher, this is your public service announcement. If you're a demolisher class and you're using the heavy flamethrower in any difficulty but like standard or lower, you should be drugged into the street and beat mercilessly because above standard friendly fire is on, and if that thing touches you, you're just dead. Like, you're just gone. It lights you on fire and you burn to death in like 3 seconds. So it's a terrible idea. But they just actually yesterday they did their first content update. They released a new class, which is it's basically a tank class with a combat shield that it can carry around.
I saw those. Yeah, the phalanx class.
Yeah, the phalanx. I like the way they do the skill tree. That's very interesting to me. They've got a grid rather than a tree, and you drag and drop and kind of have to figure out the best way because it's only got so much space, and each skill takes up like 1, 2, 3, or 4 slots.
Whoa!
Each not skill, but each like upgrade to a skill.
Time out for a sec. So what you're saying is it's just the suitcase from Resident Evil 4? Because I feel like
did not
Aaron
play Resident Evil 4, so I don't know.
More interested.
Yeah, I guess it's like you have to. You've got 3 skills on the outer ring, and as you drop in skills or skill upgrades, it like connects them and gives you different effects.
I'm looking at the trailer right now. This looks fun. I've heard very little about it.
It's a lot of fun. Me and a couple of buddies of mine have been playing the crap out of it. I have like 2 max character classes already in just a short time it's been out.
How many hours have you put in to do that?
That's an excellent question.
It has very positive reviews overall.
$40 game?
35.7 hours since release. So
wow. Okay.
That's like a week and a half old. But yeah, the fact that they've released their first content patch like this soon in, they've already got 3 DLCs announced. They've got like a season stuff, like Diablo-esque seasons announced. Like, they're doing a good job on holding my attention for the foreseeable future. So we'll see. I also tried to pick Outriders back up after all the patches. A lot of the old bugs are gone. They've been replaced with fantastic new bugs.
Hey, look at that. New.
I've got a trickster that I love playing. I love the game. I love Outriders. I really do. But I definitely have developed some kind of bug where if too many monsters spawn at once, it just can't handle, like the server can't handle it or something, and my party's quick bars will stop working, which is bad in a game in which the end game is timed and you are trying to beat a certain time rank to get rewards. Because when you suddenly deal 1/10 of the damage you expect to be dealing, it's
It's
not
bad.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
ineffective.
yeah, I want to like it. It's killing me. Like, come on, guys, get your crap together, fix it, fix the problems.
James says new bugs are better. Wait for the nurse stick.
If that's, I'll take it at this point. I don't know. I mean, they've tried. They've tried to like make up for the fact that their game is buggy as crap with, legendary drops, and they've upped the legendary drop rate as a whole, and they've addressed a lot of the stuff that players were complaining about. It just doesn't seem stable right now at all, and that is a major problem. Um, so we'll see on the physical copy side of things, the real life, as it were, games. I picked up D&D, the Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, and that is a fantastic supplement. I've gotten really, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't say jaded, but like just some of the stuff that's come out recently from Wizards has been disappointing because they're really leaning into, let's not bring back old systems, or let's not revise settings that people have played before. Let's just monetize Magic. They've got a Theros setting, they've got a Ravenica setting, and that's fine, I guess. But it doesn't seem. I don't know. It doesn't have the same feel as like third edition or either fourth edition of D&D. Because there's a lot of fluff that's missing there. Like a lot of the old books had just amazing like backstory and fluff and a lot of like mystery and a lot of it's up to the DM to sort this out kind of thing, which had a very open world feel to it. Van Richten's Guide is definitely a throwback to that. Here's like the major powers of Ravenloft. Here's why they're stuck in Ravenloft, because Ravenloft is, for those who don't know, is basically a dungeon dimension where all of the worst people get stuck. It's a horror setting, and just run with it. And it gives you rules for running a horror campaign and terror and various other things. But aside from that, it's very open-ended and very just like let the players and the DM just go crazy as far as how the story will evolve and whatnot. It's fantastic. It's probably the best supplement I've seen in the last like 4 years with the new edition. And the new edition's only been out for like 5 years, so that's saying quite a bit. But it's very, very good. Highly recommend. So, yeah, and not that you would have any knowledge of these things, Aaron, but with your lack of, I'm gonna get you before I move. I'm gonna get you. You just
James loves. He says he always loved Ravenloft. So I mean,
my favorite is Dark Sun, hands down.
How much of a threat that sounds like? I'm just going to throw that out there.
I know what Ravenholm is.
That's
and no one goes there. So.
No one goes
to
there.
Ravenholm.
No one goes to Ravenholm. Dark Sun is D&D meets Mad Max. So
burning tires and stuff like that.
The world is a devastated and barren wasteland. Most of the player species are dead, like wiped off the face of reality, and all of your
not
characters,
the Earth, reality.
Yeah, all of your characters start out more powerful than they would in a normal campaign because they have to be, because everything is so like terrible. James, I do not know if they'll bring back Dark Sun. I kind of hope they do. I kind of hope they don't, because I really love that setting and I don't want to see it, like bastardized. We'll see. So, and Dune is making a comeback. Actually, also recently bought the Dune RPG, which has got some really neat mechanics in it.
Is Dune the movie out yet? The new
Not
one?
yet. It comes out at the end of the year, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's before the end of the year.
I saw that as a
Yeah.
kid, and I had no idea the original. I was just like,
Oh man,
I have no idea what I'm looking at. So
Patrick
I've never
Stewart.
been interested in it because I was just so confused. Like that guy has really bad skin. There's a big worm. What is going on here?
Patrick Stewart carrying a pug into combat is perhaps the best thing in that film, hands
I
down.
don't remember. I mean, I just
He's
so
he's
confused.
yeah. There's definitely a scene where he has picked up the battle pug, as we will henceforth call it, and has the battle pug in one hand and a rifle in the other, is charging the enemy. That's a man on a mission. Um,
I should watch it again. I don't know.
yeah, it's. I mean, Dune the book it's considered a classic. It is good. It's a little dated. It's very dense as far as it's more of a commentary on socioeconomic scarcity and capitalism than I think anything else. So I have read the whole series. It gets really weird after about book 2, like even weirder than giant worms. Giant worms made of people, like super weird. Yeah, that's the look I was expecting. Um, but yeah, but Ravenloft was good, so that does give me a little hope for future expansions. And Wizards has shown that they are willing to have some restraint, because they actually did a recent supplement that was online only, and I can't remember the name of it, but apparently the mechanics were broken so badly for the classes and stuff in it that they chose not to publish it as an actual. They got such bad feedback from people that were testing it that they were like, we're not going to publish this as an actual physical supplement. We're going to pull it back and completely rework it. So that's good. I think that's a good step for a company to make.
Understood.
Yeah.
As James says in the chat, that's Sir Patrick Stewart.
It is Sir Patrick Stewart and his
you got
battle
put
bug.
some spec on his name, so yeah.
That's fair. That is definitely fair. And that brings us to the strangest thing that happened in the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
Someone has copyrighted a Magic the Gathering deck build.
How did that
is?
Well, wait. Okay, can we define that more? Like, they have submitted or have been approved?
They've been approved.
That's an interesting idea.
They've been approved for a copyright for a specific deck build. It's a crap deck build, and in theory, they were only doing it to prove the point that copyright law is wonky. Like, that's their thing. I can't remember the guy's name now, but he's copyrighted other strange things. But this brings up the issue of, do I, as a player, have the right to copyright the top builds and say modern or standard, and then tell people they cannot play those decks at events because they are violating my copyright, and I am the only one that can?
That doesn't. What grounds could someone really say that for something that they can buy that is not wholly unique?
But I mean, you can get a copyright on stuff that's not wholly unique as long as you bring a degree of difference, or I'm trying to remember what the legal test is.
If you have difference, if you have effort into it, and if you can prove it's like physical as part of it, like it's not hard to do, and that's horrifying. Both for the game of Magic, because I'm sure there's someone out there right now trying to do what I just said that's a worse person than I am. But also just for like collectible card games in general. Like, if you can copyright a build, it throws the whole tournament scene out the window, because you can just do exactly what I did, like copy the most winning modern deck and go to a modern tournament and be like, all you people that have this deck, you can't use it. You have to change it. You have to throw something out. You have to break a combo somehow.
I have not licensed this, so how are you using it?
There you go. So it's going to be, I don't know. It was just crazy, bizarre news in the realm of tabletop gaming. So I just continue to be flabbergasted by this turn of events.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's crazy. And
yeah.
I'll stick to my video games.
Yeah. I don't even play Magic anymore. I've been out of that money sink for a long time. But I'm a monster, so I might do that. What?
Aaron, what have you been playing?
Let's see. In terms of digital games, I've been enjoying Resident Evil 8. I know I'm
Good game.
I know I'm a little bit late on that, but although I watched like 4 walkthroughs and it came out like the first week, so I mean I'm intimately familiar with the game, what's in it. I like that game. I love the map and just exploring. I love when things just open up and I get to just go and just find every little treasure, and I love that stuff.
Okay.
I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of messed up as I'm on my way to Heisenberg's area, where you fight a whole bunch of the werewolves or whatever, and it was.
Oh, okay. I know where you are. Yeah.
I mean, I can't complain about this obviously because other people had to deal with actual real things, but the power flickered, and I'm playing on Steam. And I'm just like, and the power went off. So I'm just like, it's funny. Most of the game, I've had so much ammo that I never have to worry about anything. And I used up so much ammo fighting all those werewolves going up those stairs. I was like, I don't want to do that again. So I haven't been back in like a week.
Gotcha.
But it's a great game. I'm really enjoying it.
Now it's time to do your knife only run.
Yeah, right. I will say I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I already know what's in it. I know how it ends. I know all that stuff. I will say the first trailer for that game did make me think that there was a lot more. Of course, it wanted you to think about Resident Evil 4, which it's not, and that's okay. It doesn't need to be. I do kind of wish there was a little more Resident Evil 4 in it, but then again, I don't know where that would go.
I guess what do you mean by that? Like more Eastern European, or like, I guess I'm just trying to like, what does that mean?
Okay,
like,
you know what it is? It's the fact that like I like the game. I liked 7. But Ethan is the most boring, who cares character. But it's intentional though. Right, you're not really supposed to care about him.
Right. There's some like if you played 7 and then at least part of 8, you have to wonder how Ethan works.
Oh, I know. I already know what happened to him and why it's that like, retcon was just a bold retcon.
Slap that arm back on, put a little
just put a little juice on it and just
look, it works again.
Even the shirt and the cuff come back together,
right.
Magically. So yeah, like I said, I'm enjoying it, but I wish it just had a little more of that. I kind of miss the humor in Resident Evil 4. Like there's nothing funny in this game at all, and that's okay. There was nothing funny in 7 either because there just wasn't. But I because the setting clearly is harkening back to 4. I kind of miss, some of Leon's quips and things like that because Ethan is just terrible. But it's okay that he's terrible, but he's terrible.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah.
I have never played a Resident Evil.
Wow.
I feel like I have to make that confession.
Well, yeah, it's kind of, I don't even know where to tell you. If you wanted to, I wouldn't even know where. I guess I'd say start off with the remake of the first one, but yeah, just if you haven't.
I don't know. If you're looking for more of an action game, you start at 4.
Yeah, you start at 4. Well, you haven't beat 4, but yeah,
play the better games, which are like 6 or 7 and 8. So
you telling me 7 and 8 are better than 4?
I have several times tried Resident Evil 4, and generally when I get to the escort, like most of the game is an escort mission.
It's really not like
dealing with Ashley.
You can tell Ashley to get into a trash can, and she will just stay there.
Dealing with that, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like even
my last playthrough. 4, like you really okay. I'm going to beat 8. I've beaten 7. You need to beat 4. It's really that good. There's a reason why people still. It's a reason why they keep porting it because it's that good.
Oh, so what we're saying is popular things are automatically good? Is that what? Like,
yes. So
if they're Resident Evil 4.
So, maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have tried, and I admit there are parts that are very good. And I have I played through 5. I didn't play through 6.
I beat 5 and 6 reluctantly because they're stupid.
Reluctantly, ouch.
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
And then 7 and 8 I've played. I've played
Wait,
through 7 multiple times.
Hold on. I'm gonna call shenanigans. You've beat a game.
Oh well, yes.
I've seen your library, your unplayed library, or your unfinished library. I don't believe this at all. It's a lie.
I've beaten game. I'm going to beat 8. So I'm going to beat this next game. I'm going to beat. I'll let Tiny go into it more, but I did play some Psychonauts 2, which I'm really enjoying. But Tiny, you finished it, so I'll let you. You know, you should talk more about
Psychonauts 2 is so good. Like, if you have
really
Game Pass,
it.
why are you not playing that right now? Like, stop listening to this.
Yeah.
Go play Psychonauts 2.
All right, well, been good, guys. I'm gonna go play Psychonauts 2.
It's so good. Anyway, I played through that game, and like there are actually a couple content warnings at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
There's one about like, hey, if you have like fears around dental and teeth and whatnot, they're like, yo, we're gonna get this out of the way real quick.
That first level to get you.
And then there's another one like, hey, this is a game that we tried to it talks about and references serious topics. We tried to build a game that was about empathy and whatnot. So please like give it a chance. And it goes play like there are things in that game that they talk about, and the biggest thing is just how a situation can have so many different angles and who thinks they're the hero versus like in reality maybe no one is the ultimate good versus no one is the ultimate bad, and everyone's doing their stuff for the different reasons. And it gets I enjoyed the heck out of it. And so much so I don't know why I haven't played this yet, but I'm gonna go back and play through Rhombus of Ruin.
I did beat that on PSVR. I did finish
I own it apparently. I checked to make sure. So I'll play that on PSVR. But I had beaten the first one for a game club, I don't know, a decade ago now. Easily a decade ago, probably more than that.
I was trying to beat the first one, but it's hard to come back to it. And I didn't know where stuff was. And they're like, go do this thing. I'm like, what? I don't know. So I was like, forget it. I tried up until like a couple of weeks ago. I was still trying to finish that thing. I just never was able to.
But it is it's still a collectathon. So like you need to recognize that. If you do not enjoy collectathons and platformers, maybe this game isn't for you. Like it is a mid-2000
yeah.
I'm trying to think of how many figments there were. Like I was happy when it said like I had collected over 90% of them through my first playthrough. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go back and finish them up. But there's still like a good 100 and something left that I have not gotten.
Nope.
So it's yeah. I mean, but it's very good. There's a lot of stuff, how things work together. Who's the who is the bad guy in Raz's story is an interesting one. The main character, Rasputin. You should again. And if you have access to Game Pass, you should play it.
Yeah,
the only people, well, actually, that's not true. I was going to say the only people that can't play it are PS5 owners right now, but you could play the PS4 version on your PS5.
Yeah, that's true.
But that is, I think, the only that and Switch are the only platforms that do not have it.
I mean, if it's on PS4, it's on PS5 for the most part.
But I think that was to like just collect or because this went through Fig and whatnot, so it was to meet commitments they had made during the fundraising campaign.
Yeah, before they got bought off by
before they got bought. So, but yeah, no, you should check that out. It's very good. I enjoyed the heck out of it, and we'll see if I go for 100%. I don't know. So
I played more UnMetal, which is coming out towards the end of the month on consoles. That's the game, that hilarious game that's clearly is like a Metal Gear Solid, well, a Metal Gear spoof, if you will.
Okay.
Very really good pixel art, funny cutscenes. It's just you got to play it. Like I'm really enjoying it. It is laugh out loud funny. Like it's just it knows exactly what it's doing, and I'm enjoying it. AO the Clown. I just put a video up for that. I put a bunch of videos up earlier today, actually. 2.5D platformer. Clearly, sort of you're a clown and your dog is missing. You're going through different levels and you're collecting. It's not a collectathon because you can only really collect like 3 lollipops and 3 little bears in each level, but they're kind of hidden. But your moveset grows. Like the first level, you can't jump. and then you're on a bit of a jump. You're on this balloon that you float up higher. I have like a diving attack now. You just, as the game goes on, you're going to get more and more things that you can do. I like it. Looks good,
All right.
plays good, pretty fun. And right now, there's a lot of these first-person shooters coming out that are sort of harkening back to like Quake, stuff like that. So I played one called Dread Templar.
Okay, yeah, I got the email for that one, but
That's pretty fun. I'm liking it. They all, they're not. It plays just fine. It's just they all kind of start to blur together for me because they're all harkening back to like like a
early
Quake.
3D.
Early 3D shooters, blazing fast. Like blindingly fast for a almost 42-year-old man. It's like what happened? Like what's going on here? So fun. I played the demo for WarioWare. Get It Together. Seems neat. I guess the twist on this one is you can be all the different characters. Instead of playing the different characters' levels, you can be the different characters from the WarioWare universe. That's the thing. The WWU. I don't know. They all don't. I mean, the demo, I don't think I played all of them. It's a handful. Some kind of seem like watered down versions of others. But
So like, how many can I play of 9-Volt? Because he's the one that just does the classic video games, and that's all I really want to.
well, apparently, like he kind of sucks.
Okay.
So he's not
Like personality wise, because I can't say like I remember much personality.
No.
for any
I mean in
Wario.
terms of how he controls.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he's like a watered down version of another character, sort of.
got it.
So I don't know. What else? Some DariusBurst EX Plus, another Chronicle. There's so many of these games. I mean, I just expect to shoot a giant fish-shaped spaceship at
Robot?
the end of each level, pretty much.
Okay.
They look good. They're fun. I don't know. You shoot stuff. It works. Blitzburst. I think that was on the Switch. Little robot. You kind of bounce around. You don't really jump per se. You can just kind of like bounce off walls and kind of just move left. You just move in cardinal directions. You're trying to get to the end of the levels. But the boss battles are sort of like the boss like chasing you. You have to really do a level perfectly, sort of, to finish it. I like it. It's fun.
Okay.
Big Rumble Boxing Creed Champions. This is a boxing game. Like they came out with that PSVR Creed boxing game. It was really good, actually.
Right.
This one is not in VR, and it's on. I got it on the Switch. It's an arcade style boxing game. It's okay.
But set in the Rocky / Creed universe.
Yeah, but more focused on Creed, the son. Not I guess Adonis Creed. I guess that's his name. I like the movies though; those are all right. It's okay. It's not great, and the controls all right. It's kind of the weird part is if you knock your opponent down 3 times, you win. With the exception, if you use your special ability and knock them down, it doesn't count. So if I've knocked down the opponent twice and I knock them down with my special move, it does not count as a knockdown. I'm just like, why? It's weird. I don't get it. And I got a code from yesterday for SkateBIRD that just came in for the Xbox.
Oh, SkateBIRD.
And I loaded it up and I was like, I don't get it. Like I was a bird. I'm a bird on a skateboard.
Pretty much.
SkateBIRD.
SkateBIRD.
Yes. SkateBIRD.
And I'm skating around. And
Are you doing tricks and flips?
not well.
Well, because you're a bird.
That's true.
Yeah. So
You don't have, a innate understanding of the bird center of gravity. That's
I-
obviously
I've-
the problem here.
Clearly
I've seen
don't.
previews of it. Like I can see the joke, but I don't know. Some people take it very seriously. So
I guess I'm not really sure. Like, what am I doing wrong? I'm assuming that I have a subset of moves and it'll grow. Because I was thinking like I feel like when I went up like a ramp or a half pipe, excuse me, my wings flapped a lot, but my feet in the board didn't do a whole lot. So it's like I went up, flapped.
well, so
and fell.
is it a skate kind of game or is it a Tony Hawk kind of game? I think I thought it was more skate like.
I think
or is
you're
it
right.
Goat Simulator?
Yeah, I think I think I was approaching it more Tony Hawk, and it might be more skate.
like more like thumbsticks and
Yeah, I need to work
whatnot
on that. So
than
you know, I'll put some more time into it. I'll see what's happening, if you will.
and I see you're a big Amy Grant fan here.
What?
Man, that El Shaddai joke really just fell flat right there.
Yeah, I don't know much about Amy Grant. I'm sorry.
It's the only thing I had. I'm like, oh, she sang a song. That was El Shaddai.
I got that on Steam. I've not had a chance to play it though. It's funny. I have a shrink
I
wrap.
was gonna say
copy
I
of it.
have an Xbox 360 copy of it downstairs.
Yep.
So
Not backward compatible, but I guess it's coming out. I mean, if it's on Steam, it's coming to consoles.
pretty
as well.
sure it's coming to consoles as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I recall having some fun. I think I rented
Very
it.
stylish.
Yes.
It's a very stylish game, and I believe your protagonist wears like designer jeans that are more than I would spend on like a wardrobe.
How do you tell?
I remember it being a feature. Like
Not with designer jeans.
I want to
Thank
say
God for that.
That is exactly the reason I want to play this game. Designer jeans. I 100%. I'm sold. Tight pants. Let's do this.
We knew
Call me
you
Captain
would.
Tight pants, and let's do
Edwin
it.
and Enoch, El Shaddai's official jeans.
Gotta have a time.
I need a drink. Something stronger than water.
Gotta have a time.
This is a Engadget article. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
And I'll run through the analog stuff real fast. And Will, some of these things are things that I played at your house, actually.
Fantastic.
All right, so we played some Sushi Go Party. Had fun with that.
We did.
I don't know who won. You won. Who won? I don't remember who won.
Did I win? I didn't win actually for
Did
the
your wife
first
win?
time. I think my wife won.
I mean, I know Aaron didn't win.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't win at all.
I think my wife won. I think she won.
So we played a game called Sushi Go Party is a drafting game where you're trying to build like a sets of different cards, earn points, and very fun game.
Yep.
This one, Hues and Cues. I could tell you were frustrated with this one. This is a game where a player picks up a card and there's 4 different colors on it, and you have to come up with some like a one-word description for that color, but you can't say for the most part you can't say the color. So you pick up a card that has like different shades of purple. So you say something like grapes. So then every player goes around and takes their little color fit peg. Like mind you, the board has a grid of like
hundreds
20 by
shades,
15 shades of colors.
Yeah.
And they put the little thing on the shade, on the color they think you're referencing. Everybody does that. And then the cue giver can give a second cue, which either has, you can either do one word again or 2 words this time. So maybe you say, I don't know.
See, like I already think grapes is bad since they can come in multiple colors, but like grimace,
you're right.
Grimace seems like
okay. You're right.
if you're going for
let's say
purple.
the first one was grimace. That you're absolutely right. That this is the mistake that people made playing this game, including myself. Let's say you say grimace, and then your second clue is like wine grapes or something.
Okay.
So how you score is this little like 9 by 9, like a little box, and if you put at the end, everybody guesses you put the box over the actual color that you had, and whoever is in that box, you get 1 point for them as the cue giver. If you're the other players who happen to be in that box, you get 2 points for every one of your pegs in it, and then 1 point for any one of your pegs that are around the border. Some of the clues was just like,
it was so bad.
we had to revive people. Remember, you want people to guess this.
You want to be correct.
Exactly.
So there's actually a mechanic problem with the game.
Is there though?
And there is. It's
outside of the
color
color
issue.
blindness thing. If you're colorblind, you can't play.
Well, if you're colorblind, you can't play it at all. But when you draw a card, you're giving 4 colors, and it's like a typical Magic the Gathering size, or Uno size playing card. 4 colors on there. Lots of black space around those 4 colors. On the grid, there's nearly no black space between the different colors.
Just a very thin line between.
Very thin line.
Yeah.
So you perceive the color you are looking at on the card, and they're all numbered. So you go by the number is what you're trying to match it up to.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's a numbered and lettered grid. So like E42, whatever. So you're trying to describe the color that number is, but the color on the card looks different than the color on the board
Let me see it.
because of the difference in black space around the shapes.
Oh,
Because
okay.
because the human eye perceives. I've had classes on. I've got 3 years of art school under my belt. Okay,
Human factors.
like an actual.
I was wondering
if
if people were going to say like, oh, cool, the thing you say is just the hex code for this color.
you could, but
That
like
might be cheating,
it's the way you perceive and the way the person trying to give clues perceives the color is different from the way other players are perceiving that color.
So imagine, like, well, this is the board. Like,
Yeah.
look at all the colors. The
Gotcha.
colors, Tiny. The colors.
And you see the issue with the
colors.
card. It's got just like an example of the card on the back that you draw.
it does.
So that's a problem. Like that's actual mechanical problem with the game because your eyes are going to perceive that color different from what's on the board.
What's the thing? I kind of I disagree with that. I feel like it's the color of the
you
card
can't
is
go wrong,
literally
but-
the same as the. But that's
Gotcha.
I mean, I can actually prove you're wrong, but that's fine. You can believe you can be wrong.
But
I'm not gonna
it's
stop you.
literally the same color though.
But when it comes to the description, if you are using the card
Yes.
to describe, you're gonna be off. It's dude. It's
Gotcha.
I think
I
I think you could be, and I think that's part of the. I think that's intentional, because color.
That's
like,
a terrible
but
idea.
But that's look in the chat. Look what James says color perception is part. That is the game, and how we perceive
guess
different shades of different colors.
Color perception is part of the fun for people that aren't colorblind.
well, color.
Yes.
I mean, so
Color
like
perception is
there's I get this. This is why games have tried to get away from, or video games at least have tried to get away from, like, oh, cool, we're gonna have a piece that's just identifying colors, and having a shade or a texture or shape or something tied to it, so that there are multiple factors to let someone identify the thing. So But I mean, like it's going to be different, and like you realize that you see a color differently than other people see it, and or like how you see like light streams, and like some people see the cross for
So it's an actual, like, from my perspective, that's a mechanical problem with the game. I'm not saying
I understand.
And listen, James, you can also be wrong with Aaron. I'm not going to stop you.
I know this is a subjective topic, but you are both wrong.
He said, Aaron could use the company. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, y'all just hang out in Wrong Town together, and I'll be over here in Wrightsville.
Okay. We also played Welcome to, which is a flip and write. I like that game, and it's funny. Amanda Panda's birthday was last Friday, and she had a birthday stream that she was nice enough to invite me to, and a bunch of different content creators and board game folks there, and we all played. I thought we were playing on Board Game Arena because we've done that before, but we actually But I guess she knew everybody had the game, like the physical version, so we all just pulled out our physical versions and just.
That's fantastic.
And she had the camera. Down on her desk or table or what have you, and very fun. We had a really good time playing that. And this is when I played with my youngest, called Hideous Abomination. I know it's backwards, so I'm sorry. Hideous Abomination, where you are drawing tiles and just linking together these ridiculous creatures, and the goal is like. You put out like different goals, like you want to have the most eyes or the most cross sections, the most nails, the most teeth, and things like that.
I am behind this 100%.
This is a fun game, and then they sent me the expansion too. So it's like robots and like rotting things. It's goofy, so I don't know what. And the nice thing is, you roll a die, and it dictates like the action you take. One of the actions is to bolt down what you have. So if you've been collecting something, you can bolt it down. So it can't be stolen. So one of the other options you can take is to steal someone else's body parts and add it to your own.
That tracks.
But the one thing that we did not do was on your turn you can take a tile and put on anyone's like creature, But we never did that.
Hate draft, yeah.
Yeah, but
fantastic.
we were so focused on our own, we never did that. So, but that was a really fun one.
I love some grave robbing as much as the next man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dig your own grave and save. Dig up somebody else's and save.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's fine.
Biblios, Quill, and Parchment. That's a roll and write that I play from Dr. Finn Games. That's another good one. I played it solo. I often play things solo, and then I try to teach the children, and they normally end up winning. But yeah, another good one. Another good roll and write. Cascadia, coming out from AG and what's AG and not Flatirons. Why can't I think of the company? I don't know. Well, you would like this game. You would like this game.
Why would I like this game?
You have tiles and you have tokens.
I do love tiles and tokens. Those are two of my favorite things.
So the tiles will have so you have bears, elk, foxes, salmon, and was it hawks?
Are there honey badgers?
There are no honey badgers.
Damn.
So the tiles can have any one of those animals or up to 3 of them. And then there's tokens that will have 1. So you lay out 4 tiles and 4 tokens. And you lay out 5 objective cards, 5 scoring cards. And each animal has 5 different types. So you just you randomly draw 1 of each 5. So like, every grouping, so it's like make this specific shape of elk tiles. Have a run of salmon that touch pairs of different animals. And it's quick too. Like I've only played it solo a couple of times, but it's just you take 20 turns. You draw a pair. You draw the tile. You draw the token. Or if you happen to put a token on a piece that has like a little leaf on it, you take a nature token, which will let you draw a mismatch. Because normally you're just drawing vertical pairs, but you can draw. I'll take this tile, but then this token from over here. But you have to give up. But you have to give it up though. But it's and James, I'm glad you mentioned this. It does remind me of Overboss a lot, but they kind of complement each other. It's not quite the same. Overboss is like that's the game where it's like a sort of an 8 and 6. Boss Monster will.
Oh yeah.
They made Overboss. Yeah. So it's the same kind of thing where like you have a 16-bit looking like a farm area, a dungeon, this or that, and you're trying to combine different tiles and different things in the tile. So I know Kevin Russ designed Overboss. I think he worked on this, but I don't think he was the lead designer. But I don't know. I really like it. It's very fun. Really dig it. I'll speed this up. Popcorn Dice, very fun game. It's funny. The people who made it were tweeting at AMC, thinking like, "Hey, you could sell this game in your movie theaters." It's basically 14 dice that have 3 unpopped kernel icons, 1 single pop, 1 double pop, and then a burnt popcorn. And the whole point, you roll them out for every burnt. If you get up to 4 burnt, your turn is over. But for every double pop you have, double pop can negate the burnt ones. So you're trying to get as many, either double pops are worth 2, single pops are worth 1. You're trying to get you're trying to go up to 40 points. So everybody takes their turn. But if you, let's say you've amassed a ton, like a bunch of points, but then you have 4 burnt that you can't deal with, you lose everything. So, Oh, and James said Kevin Russ was a developer on Cascadia. Yeah, and then Calico and yes, there's definitely some ties between all of those. Steam Up is another one I played. This one, this is a prototype. This is Steam Up, A Feast of Dim Sum. So the components are fantastic. They're like 3D printed, like baskets in it, and then 3D print, and
your tokens,
3D printed food as well. It's beautiful. I have to pass this on to somebody else, of course. But so if the baskets, really nice components here. I believe that the retail, I think the Kickstarter, like the best version is going to have the 3D. The basket I think comes in general, but either going to have like cardboard tokens for food, or you're going to have like.
Why didn't you bring that over here? Why didn't you bring that over here to play?
I don't know why. I should have.
Why?
It plays up to 4. I guess I felt like there'd be too many people.
We can play 2 different games at once.
I'll do that next time.
Games.
I'll do it next time. Very fun. Of course, I lost because I'm used to it. James says popcorn dice is the version of zombie dice. I believe you're correct.
Okay. I actually have zombie dice around here somewhere. I don't know
I don't
where.
have zombie dice. I've heard good things. But I guess if I have popcorn, do I need zombie? Or if
No,
I
you
just
do
wanna,
not. If you have one of the dice tech games, you're good.
I'm good.
Yep.
And I got the wife to play Bloom in the airport while we waited for our flight. We went to a wedding last week in Kansas City, and I got her to play Roll and Write called Bloom in the airport while we waited, and on the plane twice.
Miracles do that?
So I just assumed that as we slept the night before, that the body snatchers came and took over her body, and she's somebody else.
Well,
it was a good run.
You had a good run, yeah.
Exactly. So
Listen, the pod people, they come for us all eventually.
and they like rolling rights. So
yeah, exactly.
There you go.
They're a big fan.
So that is it for me. I've talked a whole lot. Thank you for indulging me.
God,
I talked a whole lot.
So much.
I really.
I'll run through real quick. I have completed Dead Space 1. My replay of Dead Space 1 again.
What did you play?
And I'm Xbox Series X. So
okay.
It got upscaled and it had the auto HDR and what. It looked very good.
Do I have that?
You should, because
it's
on
playing
Game
it on
Pass.
Steam. Oh, okay. Then
It's on Game Pass because of the EA stuff.
Oh.
So you should have all three available. Well, the three main games, and then whatever the graphic novel one they did. Anyway, so yeah. So and I'm playing through 2, which looks significantly better. I'm very much enjoying that. So, and with those kind of upgrades, I also tried to go back to what was it, Assassin's Creed Rogue. Thinking that probably looked good. They have done none of those kind of upgrades on that game yet. So auto HDR and whatnot on Series X is very impressive. So I also have returned to Hitman 3 because that game is wonderful, and I don't think enough people talk about Agent 47 going through just the crazy amount of detail they've added to it, and the new missions and all that stuff. And that you can import Hitman 1 and 2 into it.
I think I
so
bounced
all
off
your content.
I was really loving the first one when it came out. This had to be when did that first remake come out? 5 years ago?
The first Hitman? That had 2014.
Okay, so it's
2015 maybe.
I was really into it and kind of bounced off of it, and then as they made sequels, I'd never really jumped back in.
You should. Hitman 2 is going to be on PlayStation Plus. PlayStation.
Yeah, I just downloaded it the other day, so I'll probably just play it there.
We already talked about Psychonauts 2. This is probably a problematic subject. I played through several endings of 12 minutes.
In 12 minutes?
No, and much longer. And that game is weird, and there is a lot of the big selling points for it were it's a story that you're stuck in a time loop kind of thing, and James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, right? Yes, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And then Willem Dafoe are the main voice cast.
I've heard of this person.
Or Willem Dafoe.
Ah, yes.
And it's interesting. You have to do things that I don't know. You have. If this I think the mechanics are interesting. If this is the story that I think they've been kind of selling it over the last couple of years. This is the story the author or whatever the creator felt he needed to tell. This is probably a story that didn't need to be told. I'm just gonna throw that out there. It ends in some really weird ways. If you have Game Pass, you have it available to you, and you can play through it. There are 12 endings, if I remember correctly.
How long did it take you to finish it, just out of curiosity?
I think the first run through is an hour.
That's it?
Probably. Okay. Hour 15 minutes. No, not good. Weird is not in a good way.
Okay.
Weird as in there should probably be content warnings at the beginning of that game.
Oh.
Yikes.
There are things you have there are things you have to do, and then there are story beats that are very uncomfortable. So like I think that the time loop thing is like, again, the mechanics of it, like having to like set stuff up and remember, but the idea that they didn't think like maybe we should tell people, like I'll give one example. Or maybe I won't. I don't know.
Give me your examples.
So you're playing as the husband, and something's going. You come home and your wife, and you have to prove you're in a time loop, and you have to like tell her some stuff to prove it, and then like the next time you go through the loop, you can just kind of skip there, skip to that point because you could say like, oh hey, I did this, I told you this before or whatnot, and at one point you have to like. Yeah, I don't know. You have to drug your wife to get her to go to sleep so that when the other party comes in, they see and wonder what's going on, so you can sneak up behind them. And it's like, why? Who? What? Why
That's
did
not
you
problematic
think this?
at all.
Oh, it gets so much worse though. Like,
well, THC Stalker in the chat says that they bounced off of it really. Bounced off after the novelty wore off and looked it up.
And
they said there should be content warnings. So that sounds disturbing.
They're so anyway. Yeah, you should like just beware, like especially in like relationship stuff and like weird relation. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Be aware. Again, it's on Game Pass, so I guess if you want to play it, you could play it there on PC and on Xbox.
Is that an exclusive to Xbox, or is that?
I don't know. I think it's on PlayStation.
Okay.
I don't know that for a fact though. But anyway, maybe it's not. No, it looks like it's exclusive to Microsoft platforms and Macintosh. So
I've heard of that console.
So yeah, so there's that, and then the last thing, which would be a very different topic, Marvel Future Revolution, which is Marvel's next like mobile game, but it's. Have you ever wanted to play an MMO from like the early 2000s?
No.
But on your phone, you should play, like it's interesting. Like everyone has to pick one of 8 superheroes to be. But they have so many different costumes that like there is some diversity to it, but like there's only I think 8 or 10 playable actual characters. So everyone filling the servers are one of these 8 superheroes. So like Storm or Captain Marvel or Captain America or Spider-Man.
So you could be Blade, but in a Squirrel Girl costume, but you're still Blade.
Well, like in an alternate universe costume, because the whole idea is that. This is kind of spinning off of there was a Marvel storyline 2 years back where the universes were collapsing together. And this is how they brought Miles Morales into the main 616 universe and whatnot. So like they took that story and did a divergence where like, oh, what if instead of the universes collapsing together, we figure out how to save everyone and have them all live on one Earth. That's why there can be 1,000 storms, but like one could be like Mohawk Storm versus animated X-Men animated Storm in the gray suit and that kind of stuff. And like all you're really doing is going and talking to a quest giver. You ask them how many of a thing you have to go get and that or beat up, and you go do said task and come back. And like it's impressive on a phone. I think it was I had some fun with it. I don't know if I'm going to keep playing it. It's kind of like DC Universe Online Stalker. It's interesting. I hope they add more. Like I picked Captain Marvel because I wanted someone who was kind of tanky, and she was the best character. Like Iron Man's in there, so you can have all the different Iron Man suits or whatnot. But like everyone has to have a projectile, so like that's why the Hulk isn't a character. I assume that's why like the Hulk or more melee or the Thing aren't there, because it's like, oh no, we need to have a projectile to attack pieces and whatnot.
That seems limiting.
But it's I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. It's free to play. It's on your phone. Like if you want to download it, like as long as you have a I'm playing it on iPhone 7 Plus, so not the newest phone, and it runs well.
Aren't they on like 12 now?
Yes.
All right.
So, but they did skip what the iPhone 9. Like they skipped a number, right? I think they skipped a number. Anyway, so
are we thinking of Windows skipping 9?
I feel like they skipped to 10 from 8. I'd have to go back and check. I don't know.
Skipped X. I don't know. Who knows?
Wasn't 10X though? Like anyway, not important. So yeah, so those are the games I have been playing. Real quick on new stuff. I don't know if you saw this. Marvel is on a kick of announcing games. So they announced Midnight Suns this week, and that's from Firaxis. So it is the XCOM people making a Marvel superhero game where you fight zombies and vampires and whatnot. Well, like Midnight Suns is a series / group. Like that's a Blade and Morbius and like, that kind of stuff. So, and this is a original character you play as, but you will also be bringing other superheroes into the fight. But instead of it being all of your moveset is based on a card deck you build. So like, and it's interesting because like that means that they're not making the superheroes all like line up into like 4 categories. Like, oh, this is sniper versus tank versus whatever. Like you can have everyone have their own cards so that it's not, oh, here's what Overwatch for Wolverine looks like versus what Overwatch looks like for like War Machine or whatever. And so like it looks cool, and they like the first thing there was a gameplay demo this week. The first thing they came out and said is like there will be no microtransactions for like movements and whatnot, which really means there will be microtransactions for costumes. And that's fine. Like, hey, whatever. I have no problem. Yeah. Like there are like someone's going to want some version of the Iron Man armor, and they're going to be like, cool. We just can't have infinite artists. Without some way to recover. So like that looks real cool. The PlayStation Showcase was today, and
God of War Ragnarok,
God of War, Spider-Man 2, where they introduced Venom, but like also so I wrote down notes. So let me,
of course you did,
bring up notes real quick. Gran Turismo 7, those cars look pretty. Insomniac is making a Wolverine game, or
Insomniac they must really be building up. I mean, I'm sure they're already pretty sizable, but Wolverine and Spider-Man 2,
and making Spider-Man 2. So Spider-Man 2, there's a voiceover that weirdly then transitions into a Venom voiceover, but I feel like the first part it's like, oh, I'm always looking for a challenge. Well, it feels like it's Kraven talking, not Venom, because like Eddie, that's not Eddie Brock really. So like I think Kraven's going to be a big part of that. God of War, Thor's in there. A tourist can summon a Patronus. The one thing I wasn't wild about, and I wish they would steal this from Microsoft, is they didn't share what was exclusive. Like there is a point in that presentation where they have Herman, whatever his name is, the head of game studios for Sony, come in and say, oh, hey, we're going to talk about some exclusives now. And I'm like, oh, so does that mean everything else before this was multi-platform? And like, you just didn't say that for the most part. So like what Stalker put in chat, a KOTOR remake, a Knights of the Old Republic remake, where they're saying
exclusive. Now you have my
it
attention.
Is a console timed exclusive, and then it's also on PC. And the rumor / kind of what was hinted at in some of the after stuff is that they're actually taking parts from KOTOR 1 and 2 and putting them together so that this remake aligns more to what the continuity of Star Wars today is versus what the continuity then. So it will be, what's weird, the weirdest part though is it's by Aspyr, ASPYR, who I know they've done more, and like they did the HD port or the phone port that's up-res and whatnot. But like they used to just be a Mac conversion studio is how I knew them. Like they would take popular PC games and bring them to Mac. So like for them to be doing what is essentially at least partially original development seems like a real change for them. It is also coming to PC. And that's the weird thing. Like Sony, there was only one time I saw them put the PC thing on it, and that's the Uncharted collection. They're redoing another Uncharted collection for PS5 and PC, which will have all of the Uncharteds in it, except for the Vita one.
Well, I enjoyed that one outside of ripping the screen, whatever.
I'm trying to like Guardians featured the Nova Core. See if I buy that. I thought it was one of what that was actually interesting. So Alan Wake's getting a remaster.
They got leaked. Yeah.
And it's published by Epic Games.
Okay.
And it's the first time Alan Wake's been on PlayStation.
That's true.
Which I thought about. I'm like, oh, that is true. Like, and they show that in the trailer.
Guess I won't be playing it. It's got Epic in there.
So yes. See, you know what? No, you have been on. We have talked more recently because. Well, no, that was a voicemail.
He couldn't respond.
Ghostwire Tokyo got shown again, and I think that seems like a real VR game, at least from what they showed. Like it was a lot of like you saw arms moving in front of you. So we'll see. Like people were thinking they were going to show off the new version of PSVR at this, and they did not. But yeah, God of War looks great. Spider-Man's got a 2023 release date on it.
Bold of them to assume the
Wolverine's got no release date on it. So, and there were some smaller games like something called Kid Amnesia, another one called Chai. They didn't pronounce it, and I wrote it down, so that's me attempting. Which looks like a Breath of Wild game.
It looked interesting.
Yeah, but like you can teleport yourself into animals. So like you're taking control of birds and fish and dogs and whatnot, and then at the same time, like
tigers, bears.
You jump out of the bird and suddenly you have the same like parachute thing that Link had from Breath of the Wild.
I really want to know PETA's stance on this game now. That's all that matters to me about that game. That will determine whether I play it or not. I want to hear their stance.
Gotcha.
PETA, reach out to us.
But no, I think it was an excellent show. I just wish they were a little more clear because like I'm watching the KOTOR thing. It's like the thing they kicked that whole show off with, and it's a question of cool. So what is, because all it was a teaser trailer showing I think like Darth, one of the Dark Sith, and it's like cool. Is this just the phone game being moved to
Darth
console, or what is this?
Revan.
And we got a press release. Well, I think we got a press release in the mailbox saying like, oh, this is a console launch exclusive and PC, and so like I'm not expecting anyone to advertise other people, but like it was weird. I couldn't tell what was exclusive or not.
They make it ambiguous on purpose.
So like I think as much as people are like make fun of Microsoft for their like console launch, like at least they tell you up front for almost everything they showed at their press conferences. But this is another PlayStation game coming to PC, which is like Uncharted.
Yeah,
so,
that is coming. Yep, that is coming.
Like this, like so far, it's really only been Death Stranding and Horizon, and they were both built on the same tool set. Uncharted's not on that, so. And then I will say something for our local thing. Hey, MagFest announced you're gonna have to have your Vax card and wear a mask during the event.
That is
next year. So like big fans of that. Same for Too Many Games announced that they'll require masks. So
still not sure I'm gonna go because pandemic, but that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, it's a thing.
And I'll just bathe in hand sanitizer and drink it when I'm walking around.
That's healthy. That's get some horse dewormer while you're at it, since you're gonna have hand sanitizer. I mean,
ivermectin is pretty tasty from what I'm hearing.
Listen, go whole hog.
Exactly.
So I mean that's that stuff. There's this rumor of Game Boy and Game Boy Color games coming to the Switch.
I'm here for it. Let's go.
And to tie to that rumor, there's also the rumor that there's going to be a Switch. What are the Switch presentations called?
Directs.
Yeah, Nintendo Direct. Next week maybe or
next
soon.
Week. Okay.
But like, there's always that rumor. Like, I feel like
yes, as soon the minute one ends, like, well, the next one has to be in an hour. Like they just did it. Like, what?
So
stop.
I heard this rumor in 20 minutes from now, actually.
Well, that's good. Also, I feel like the Switch is probably powerful enough to get Game Boy Advance. So let's just cover the Game Boy gamut. Let's not only do 2/3 of it.
I mean, I want more Mania, but I want more than more Mania.
So, What's the Cuphead show thing here? I didn't see that.
I saw like a trailer for the Netflix show. I guess Wayne Brady is King Dice or the Dice King.
I did see
whatever.
something about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is the voice for King Dice. And
I
then
didn't get up to King Dice in the game because it's too hard.
the Chinese government versus games. Like there's a lot to unpack there. So
3 hours a week that kids can supposedly play?
Is it 3? I thought it was 1.
Oh. 3 on weekends.
Yep.
It's like 3 on
maybe.
Weekends. Yeah.
But
I mean, like I said,
apparently-
there's a lot to unpack about like what does that mean and what are the play styles and
Apparently, there are already restrictions on playing during the week, though.
Not enough.
right, and they use biometrics to like confirm player identities and whatnot. So like you have to present ID and whatnot when you start a game as part like you have an ID tied to your real ID. It's not like a gamer tag or any of that stuff. Where you could in theory be anonymous behind
that
that.
seems kind of crazy. Like,
Yeah.
So
You got to prick your finger and press
put
it
your
to the
ear
screen.
in the box.
I mean, again, like, and I tried to listen to a lot of different viewpoints on this, and like how games are consumed there versus how they are consumed in the West are a different discussion, and like a lot of it is based on games that would consider loot boxes and whatnot. So there is significant more than like, oh, you buy a game and you play through it, like. But on the other hand, to also see like 10-cent netties, like. I think I saw one article that said Tencent lost the equivalent of 8 Bethesdas in value based off of this. So
Jesus.
what? Microsoft bought Bethesda for $2 billion. So that means $60 billion. Bloomberg reports that the value of China's largest gaming company, Tencent NetEase, plummeted dramatically during overnight stock sell-off, resulting in a loss of totaling more than $60 billion between the two.
Ouch.
Like
That's bonkers.
that. Like, so I mean, yeah, that's huge. So I like, whew. So, but yeah, it will be ongoing, so we'll see what happens. So
I just saw
news we had listed.
Stalker's message in chat saying so many fun RPGs in the GBA I'd love to play on. I love on the Switch. I'm assuming he. Well, I don't know. I'm assuming Golden Sun is on that list. I don't know. That was a pretty popular one.
GBA, that'd be great. Get both Golden Suns off there. I mean. The weird thing is some of those games, like if you want to play through the Mana games, at least the ones that were Seiken Densetsu 1 and 2, those were Game Boy games.
Sword of Mana.
And those were on. Well, they were Final Fantasy Adventures.
Yep.
Well, I'm thinking of the Game Boy and whatnot.
Oh, that was my game right there, man.
And those are on the Sword of Mana collection or whatever.
Man, that's
So
I still have a copy of that with my original save on it somehow.
Stalker mentioned Mega Man Battle Network. I never got into that.
People
But they always
are
look kinda
huge
cool.
into that. Like, yeah, like I mean, it's Pokemon with Mega Man, is my understanding.
And LAN and Chip and
So
Ethernet. I don't know the characters.
Yeah.
I know LAN was a character.
So RJ45.
There you go.
No, so
Cat 6, grab that for me. I'm from the future. There is no Cat 6 now.
So, but yeah,
stop.
so that's the news that we had written down.
All right.
Anything anyone wants to add before we get out of here?
I have a pluggable.
Well, why don't you start with your
Yeah.
plugs?
Yeah.
I'll start with my pluggable. So Knoxville by Night is the RPG podcast. If you want to hear me play the matriarch of a dysfunctional family with some friends for hilarity, a lot of face palming. We've got a Discord, and you can find us wherever you find your podcast. Yeah.
Is this night KNIGHT or NIGHT?
It is. My gosh, I don't even know. I'm a terrible human. Knoxville, KN, like
KN.
Knoxville, Tennessee, by night.
That
it
makes
is-
sense. That was
Night
my
as in-
assumption.
by night as in the time of day, not
The
night
time of
as in
day,
the armored
not,
figure.
not the armored.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going for the armored figure thing. So
No, Knoxville by night. Vampire hunting, werewolf running from screaming, hollering, hilarity. So,
like you do,
like you do. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, Will, thank you for joining us once again. It's been a pleasure chatting it up with you.
It's always fun.
Yeah,
It's always fun.
Definitely.
thank you for the folks in the chat who watched the stream and chatted with us and made the show better. We appreciate you being here. If you want to reach us, you can always reach us at GameEnthus.com. You can email us at podcast@GameEnthus.com. Hit any one of us up on Twitter. Tiny is at Tiny415. I'm at Indifference. And Mike, who could not be here today from Real Life Things Happen, Mike is at Assault Suit. And Will, your Twitter account is, what is it again? I don't remember.
I don't even know.
Well, I mean, we tagged him in the thing.
I
so
did.
Yeah, you tagged me in the thing.
The Wesson.
The
Wesson.
Wesson.
The underscore Wesson.
The underscore Wesson. Yep.
And that's the lesson. Oh, if you want to leave us a voicemail, you can do so at 202-573-7686. All right.
Let's do it. Call and complain.
Yes. Well, about something else, not us.
About something, yeah, not
something
us.
else.
Yeah.
Tony, how about you?
I will say there was one other thing I forgot to mention. A bunch of Star Trek games came to GOG today,
Really?
including both Elite Forces games, which are the first-person shooters based off of. I know Elite Forces 1 is based off the Quake 3 engine. They are very good, and apparently they're running Windows 10 now. So you can get those from GOG. So check those out. Otherwise, as you can see, scrolling across the top, we are raising money for our local Children's Miracle Network hospital. So you can go to extra-life.org/team/GameEnthus. Donate what you can. 100% of it goes directly to the Children's Hospital that we're raising. So like Aaron's raising for John Hopkins Children's Hospital in Baltimore. And I raise for Children's Hospital in Philadelphia. You can also go to GameEnthus.com/extra-life to it'll redirect to that same link. You can also go to extra-life.org and sign up to raise for your local Children's Miracle Network hospital. There are 170 to choose from. So you can pick the one that has a special meaning to you or is close to you and start raising money for them. And hey, they could use your help. There's a lot of stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
That,
What? There are things happening?
that's related to medical workers and whatnot. So yes, check those out. Stalker, I live outside of Philly, but I lead the Philadelphia group, which I always
I'm
find
in Delaware.
Yeah, I live in Delaware, but I lead the Philadelphia. Anyway, there's a long story behind no one wanting to lead it. Anyway,
There's math involved.
They won't
It's
let
very
me
difficult.
leave.
I can't leave. But anyway, but that's why we'll also I will be at too many games. I will not speak for anyone else for a booth, and I'm trying to figure out how that's going to work. So okay, gotcha. So check out extra-life.org. And what is it? Lower Decks is going to be available in 26 minutes. So
Fantastic.
I look forward to watching that. So, and with that, I'd say we're out of here.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks
Peace
for
out.
watching.
Have a good night, all.
Did we mention anything about having your pet spayed, neutered, and donating blood if you can?
We did not.
That's what Mike would say if he was here. He would say
Do you
donate
wanna
blood.
do you wanna edit something in, or
No, I'm
that
just
sounds
gonna-
like a lot of work?
No, I'm just going to keep the audio that I'm speaking in right now.
Okay.
And there we go. So in honor of Mike, who could not be here. So donate blood, have your pet spayed or neutered. We're out of here.
Peace.